Gran Turismo 7's been out for 4 years at this point. I know it's felt like longer, for better or for worse, but out of all of the attention this game gets, good or bad, I feel like one of the biggest aspects of it that doesn't really get discussed enough is, ironically, what a lot of people's favorite parts of the older Gran Turismo games are. As with anything related to modern gaming, and I don't mean to sound old and jagged and wretched and stupid, but amongst a sea of questionable design choices and a little bit of greed, there are some truly good things that slip through the cracks of the investors. And for Gran Turismo 7, one of those biggest things are its original circuits. This video is basically going to be me gushing about my favorite tracks in the game and why I like them, and for good measure I'll give them a rating. No ranking this time though. This is not going to be a part of the greatest series. Additionally, I'll talk about the implied history behind each track using the surroundings and props and, I guess, the environment and stuff like that. The good and bad parts about each track, and some even have real life comparisons that I think only make them more interesting because it shows that the world of GT, it shows that it isn't like a place in time, it sort of just moves with it. Like, not to sound pretentious as shit, but you know what I mean, alright? I hope. With that, here's the formula. Take a good look at it to remember the stats. And yeah, I guess it's time to talk about one of the most discussed tracks from GT7. Right before that though, when I'm talking about corner order, I always mean the order in the right way round. So if I'm talking about it in a reverse layout, I'll mention it. Maggiore is probably the most famous original circuit from Gran Turismo 7, and it's pretty easy to see why. You know, located in northern Italy, so basically the prettiest backdrop ever. Modeled to look extremely realistic, which I guess applies to all the tracks, but this one especially looks like a real venue. This is basically like modern day Grand Valley in a way. People have begged for this track to be built in real life since the game came out in 2022. The only other Gran Turismo track to receive that much love really is Grand Valley. So that automatically makes Maggiore a legendary Gran Turismo original circuit. To discuss the track itself, there are 6 layouts, 12 if you include the reverses. To get the smaller layouts out the way, since they're kind of just chunks of the full course, which is the most interesting thing, the east and west end courses, as well as the center course, are great for slower cars. The full east and west circuits seem like they're best for sports cars and touring cars, which I guess would be Group 4, but we never really know because they aren't used in the career or sport mode for that matter. And then of course, the full course. The layout is long, 5.8 kilometers, and that leads to laps being long. Oh, fucking revolutionary. The main gist of the circuit though is probably the most interesting part of it. This is Gran Turismo's take on a modern day FIA Grade 1 circuit. Wide, state-of-the-art safety parameters and fan accommodations. The layout only further confirms this as the lap is extremely flowing while also providing ample places for overtakes. Turns 1, 5, and 11 being the best spots to do so. Really, this feels like a hybrid between to me, this feels like a hybrid between Coda and Portimao. Just because of how well the elevation is used, this shit literally feels like a butter roller coaster. Turn 5, 11, and 17, absolutely the most notable when it comes to that aspect of, you know, elevation change. All of this to say, this track is one of the few fictional circuits that realistically should be made. I'm not saying it could be made, I'm not saying like that as a fan. I'm saying it should be made specifically because racing here is so amazing. Just in this game. In real life with professional drivers, this shit would be genuine art. I guess my only issue with this track is that it's too good. And look, I know some of y'all niggas just scoffed, like I'm just being argumentative to be argumentative, but hear me out, okay? On paper, a track like Barcelona or Lucille for motorcycles should be absolutely splendid. To the fans, to the drivers, to everyone. Are they? Absolutely fucking not. Mediocre at best. When a track is too formulaic and too uniform, it's boring. While tracks like Coda and Portimao avoid this issue through their elevation, and Maggiore, you know, kind of does it too, it doesn't mean it still isn't a problem where racing feels like more procedural than an actual race. Basically, I feel like there isn't enough entropy when racing at Maggiore. The best tracks are always unpredictable, and Maggiore, pretty predictable. I guess it says something that it's still so fucking good though, I guess. I don't know. Overall, the surrounding environment is gorgeous, the purpose of the track is great, all layouts lead to good/great racing in their respective roles, which is less important to the track's character compared to others we'll be talking about soon, but the track is just a little too perfect. There's no real chance for unpredictability. I guess northern Italy is decently rainy, but the summers are usually pretty clear by Lake Maggiore in real life, so This track is still such a banger though, and if you're a billionaire watching this video, first of all, pay your goddamn taxes, you bitch. And secondly, do something good with your oil inheritance money. Make this track real. You know, whether in Italy or fucking Idaho, I don't care. This track needs to be real. Before getting into this section fully, while the Sardinia rally track is good, it's not what I'll be talking about in this section. It's completely unrelated to the 3 tracks that make up Sardinia's road courses, which, by the way, are in a pretty unique space in Gran Turismo 7, really only being similar to like 2 other tracks in the game, both of which will be covered in this video soon. Sardinia's courses, layout A, B, and C, are modernized street circuits, which I think is pretty cool. You can see the efforts to make them up to snuff through places like the main straight, which features on all layouts, and the seemingly completely new infield that is layout B. Yet DNA of what the track used to be still shows in places like the entire second half of the lap of layout A and the back straight of layout C. Most of the praise I show to Sardinia goes to the A course, but to quickly sum up my opinions on the B and C layouts, B is good for racing but suffers the same problem as Maggiore, where a little too trimmed, it leads to it being really boring when time trialing and not very rewarding on top of that. It's like vanilla ice cream, really. Like, that's really the best way I can put it. It's good, but if you're actively seeking that shit out as your primary source of enjoyment, you hem pants for a living at a mall. You do you, I guess, but I like layout C more simply because it's so much fun in older, slower cars. It's probably my favorite track for those types of cars other than the Goodwood circuit. Only problem is, it's not that great for racing, and it's way too short. But yeah, with those out the way, let's talk about the Kingfish, alright? The A layout is amazing in both forward and reverse configurations. Weirdly, the track reminds me a lot of like Montjuic's final layout and Gran, but with chicanes and, you know, smaller. The track width, the safety features and like crash protection and the road surface all vary throughout the lap, which leads to the track feeling much more raw and unpredictable compared to most others in the game. That unpredictability, especially regarding the road surface, makes hooking a lap of the track incredibly rewarding. And more importantly, fun. All that before mentioning that it's great for racing. Like, the best spots for overtakes are turn 1 and turn 9, the hard braking zones at the end of each major straight of the track. The southern half of the lap also encourages good wheel-to-wheel action, as coming out of turn 1 usually leads to drivers being side by side through the little S's into that deceptive ass fucking wide chicane, whatever it is. It's great. Even the turn that leans onto the back straight promotes battling. By turn 9 at the end of that back straight, one of y'all will definitely be ahead, but even if you're still neck and neck, the conflicts at the top of the track will eventually lead to someone edging out in front. Unless someone's stubborn enough to go side by side through one of the hardest set of corners to ace in the entire game. And next thing you know, broken neck, gigantic accident, smash controller probably. It's just such a fun track to race on though, man. And it's almost equally a good track to time trial on and challenge yourself. However, not everything is sunshine and rainbows with the A layout because of Gran Turismo's, or specifically GT7's stupid fucking slipstream system. Often the racing breaks into packs and doesn't really get back together, which I guess is normal. But as with another track that'll be coming up soon, a lot of times that separation feels really artificial and takes away from the fun. At least for me. That slipstream problem also leads to problems with actually maintaining overtakes, which again, I guess promotes better racing in quotes, but it's kind of like the new F1 regs where a lot of it doesn't feel natural, like at all. Regardless, these are less problems with the track as they are with the game, so in general, I still adore Sardinia's A layout as well as the C layout. That feel of being old yet modernized to a degree is something I love so much, man, seriously. The B layout is a little too uniform for me though. It does work for racing, I'll say that. Turn 8 is absolutely insane for overtakes on the B layout, by the way. It's the highlight of the lap for sure. I'm going to be brief with this one just because I've been wanting to talk about this forever, yet never really had a chance to. So, yeah. I like Grand Valley Highway. I'll get that out of the way. The sunset time of this track is genuinely one of the prettiest environments I've ever seen in a game. Not just like any game, full stop. The layout is, of course, amazing because it retains pretty much 95% of Grand Valley's core DNA, meaning racing is great, time trialing is good. However, why does this exist as Grand Valley? Like, the reskin was so unnecessary, and it very much so pissed off a lot of the fans of the old game seeing the Gran Turismo track being changed to this for no reason. And it pissed me off to an extent too. Like, why couldn't they bring back Grand Valley Speedway and make this track its own unique thing with its own identity? Or at least bring back Grand Valley Speedway alongside this and let people choose which they'd like to race on. Just deeply unnecessary, alright? I guess here's the rating, but it's not really pertinent to the video. It's more so just like a formality. It's Grand Valley. If the purpose wasn't so useless, it'd be a 30 out of 30. So it's like, yeah. Before moving on to the last track I wanted to talk about, there were two tracks I sort of had thoughts about that I couldn't really turn into a whole section dedicated to why I like them. So I'll talk about them and give them a rating here real quick. Alsace is an interesting track with an interesting premise. To me, at least. It's clearly a street circuit with added sections specifically for racing, but still feels old school while also seeming like a dedicated testing grounds. The main village course is extremely fun for time trialing. Racing is good though, just good, mainly brought down by the first half of the lap being extremely hard to overtake on, mainly because of the flow. Although I guess that, would it be third corner? That is a pretty good overtake spot. The track utilizes elevation extremely well too. The amount of camber on some corners, especially the little fucking like tumor corner at the bottom of the track, has this cool transition where you almost get to like positive banking while transitioning into the small straight after it. That's awesome. I love that. To me, the best way I can describe Alsace's village course is like a mix of Spa and Zandvoort. The test course, however, much weirder. It quite literally has the weirdest corner in the game, like without a doubt. The super steep, like positively banked sweeper that leads to the most extreme suspension crunch like in the world. You know, type of corner to make you 3 inches shorter, you know, shit out of a fucking vertebrate. Just a very, very interesting track all around, both variants. Even if they aren't the best for racing, the time trialing is so rewarding that it kind of makes it up for me. But again, racing game, not a time trialing game, so. Oh yeah, Alsace also probably has some of the best time condition choices of any track in the game. They all look great. Kyoto Driving Park is in the same vein as Alsace, very clearly being a designated testing grounds for racing series or manufacturers or something along those lines. The main difference with Kyoto is that there's much less elevation change. That's not to say there isn't any. The massive downhill on the Yamagiwa layout of the track, and I guess the best version of the track that combines both the Yamagiwa and Miyabi variants, is great to test suspension setups. In general, Kyoto kind of reminds me of tracks like Sakura in Barcelona, and I guess Maggiore to a point too. Which means it also has the same problem, where the track is too formulaic and a little too plain. One of my favorite corners on the track is the corner that transitions from Yamagiwa to Miyabi on the combined course right after the downhill I just spoke about. The extremely, like, let's be frank, chopped ass transition that you have to do, it needs extremely delicate throttle engagement. Like a level of delicacy that even I can't still do, even though I love time trialing this track because I'm a tard ass. That unpredictability shows the true skill level of drivers, which is why I love it. But yeah, Kyoto, cool track, looks especially nice during the sunset time. Good track. Good track. And now to talk about the final circuit, and my main inspiration for this video, it's time to talk about one of my all-time favorite Gran Turismo originals, Sainte-Croix. Sainte-Croix is located in the south of France, which automatically means the surroundings are going to be beautiful, and they get even more beautiful when choosing the two earliest times or the sunset time, which is my personal favorite. There are 3 layouts and their reverse variants, the A, B, and C layouts. To be honest, I mainly want to talk about the C layout, so I'll clear the other two real quick. Layout A is good for prototypes, but not as good as Layout C, so it's kind of stuck in this middle ground where its usefulness isn't the greatest. Layout B is great for GT3 cars. Both of these variants, alongside C, share some common traits that are the track's greatest strengths. They're very clearly road tracks with added sections specifically for racing, which again, gives it this amazing vibe of like being a historic track that's been modified over time to accommodate modern racing, which if you can't tell, I fucking love. But to talk about the C layout, the reason why I love this so much more than any other is because when you take a long, hard look at it, you realize it's Gran Turismo's take on Le Mans or La South. Like, this is just another version of La South, and in my opinion, it fulfills that role equally well, maybe even a little better. I don't know why, but something about the C layout is so rewarding to race on, and even more rewarding to time trial on. The overall vibe of racing on it feels exactly like Le Mans. I have the proof right now. I think pretty much the majority of my saved time trial replays are on St. Croix, dating back to like 2024 or something like that. You'll see it on screen right now. I love Layout C. The overall vibe of racing on it feels exactly like Le Mans, a historic street circuit that's needed to be modified over time due to a tumultuous past, and which today hosts one of the best races of the year packed with action. The track itself is also extremely well designed, more so than the other two, in my opinion at least. Overtaking opportunities are everywhere, most notably after the 3 long straights, as well as turn 7 and the final corner. The flowing section at the end of the lap and the technical part of the first half of the lap are also extremely fun to ace, which only makes hooking a lap up around this track even more rewarding. I mean, really, I can't get over how fucking good Layout C of St. Croix is. I'd actually argue it's better than the real Circuit de la South, really, at least for time trials in Gran Turismo 7, which is very specific. But all that, and it has my personal favorite surrounding environment in the game, with the purple from the flowers track side, whatever they are, lilacs or something. Just awesome touch. It's so unique, even if it's one of the most forgotten tracks in the game, funnily enough. The biggest issue with it is, again, the issue of pack separation, which applies to all 3 variants of the track, but it's especially noticeable on C because of how long the top and back straight is. There was one other main issue that I'm forgetting as of right now, so hopefully I remember it. Really pissed off I didn't write it down in my fucking notes. So yeah, my overall thoughts on St. Croix is that I like the A and B layouts, but I love the C layout to the point that it's in contention with Grand Valley, Eiger Nord 1K Trail, Cape Ring, the Sierra Time Rally track, countless other classics from Gran Turismo history. St. Croix is up there for me. I adore it. Yeah, that's the video. I don't really got anything to talk about this time around. I'm heading off to university, so the weekly-ish uploads gonna end soon, which sucks. Just yeah, nervous for all of that. Nervous about a whole bunch of shit, especially regarding YouTube, because I don't know how often I'm gonna be able to upload anymore. So just letting y'all know now, I guess. Thank you for watching my 100th video with an asterisk. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a good day, night, morning, afternoon, whatever. Just have a good one, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, they hate me. Check the stats, 30 piece. Check the stats, check the chain, that's a 30 piece. Check the stats, check my game, I'll drop a 30 piece. Ho, ho, we sippin'